Casey's Coast to Coast.
Media Base 24/7 counts them up, and we count them down. Holding at 16 is a man who was born and raised in rainy England, but these days he calls sunny California home. Here's James Blount with You're Beautiful.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
And that means we're up to the number one song in the USA this week. It's by a man who grew up knowing nothing about popular music. His whole life was built around the classics. James Blount grew up in a strict British military family. His father had little interest in music of any sort. James might never have discovered his own love of music had it not been for his mother. She decided that her son needed to study the classics to become fully rounded. When James was 5, he went for violin lessons. When he was 7, the piano replaced the violin. James says, quote, "It was a pretty miserable experience playing Mozart and Beethoven over and over again, but it was also a great introduction to my understanding of music." Eventually, James was sent to boarding school, and it was there that he discovered what he had been missing, the songs that inspired him to become a musician at the top of the chart. The number one song in the USA for a fourth week on American Top 20 is You're Beautiful by James Blount.
The hits from coast to coast.
Well, now we're up to this week's number one song in the USA. It's a hit that was born on a London subway when James Blount caught a fleeting glimpse of a former love. Along with thousands of others, James Blount was heading across London on the city's famous underground. As he waited in the station, a train came rolling by. James looked at the train, and for a moment, a very brief moment, he noticed the girlfriend who had recently left him. She was riding on that train, and she wasn't riding alone. She was with another man, a man who was clearly her new boyfriend. At that instant, James Blount realized that his relationship with this girl was truly over, which is the meaning of the line, "I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'll never be with you." The number one song in the USA on American Top 10 for the third consecutive week is You're Beautiful by James Blount.
American Top 20.
These are the hottest hits in the land this week, and we're up to a singer now whose videos are all filled with strange, even disturbing images. In his video for High, James Blount is running through a forest trying to escape something. In his video for Wise Men, he's taken hostage. And in the video for You're Beautiful, he makes a desperate leap into the ocean.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
Media Base 24/7 counts them up, and we count them down. Now we're up to the song High. It's by an English musician who's almost as well known in his hometown for a windmill as he is for his hits. It's a windmill that's been in James Blount's family since the 1920s. It sits near the eastern coast of England, about 2 hours north of London. And this windmill has made the Blount family local heroes. You see, it dates back to the 1700s, and it was in terrible shape when the family bought it. They could have demolished the old windmill, but instead, over the years, they've restored it. It's become a local landmark, and in England, when James Blount is interviewed, the old windmill often comes up. He says, quote, "I grew up working at that windmill. We did it all ourselves. It's part of English history. And when I have to get away, the windmill is where I go. I have total privacy there. It's a great place to write." Now, dropping 3 notches to number 15, here's James Blount with High.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
These are radio's hottest hits from 20 to number 1. Up a notch to number 18 is a song that wasn't moving up the chart. And then James Blount performed it on Saturday Night Live, on Oprah, and on the Today Show. And it took off. James Blount with Goodbye, My Lover.
Casey counts them down.
Now we're up to an American Top 20 extra by James Blount, a star who credits his years at boarding school with turning him into a songwriter. James says that when he was just 7 years old, his parents sent him to a British boarding school. Quote, "I came from a military family, and part of our family tradition was boarding school. All the images are true. The harsh discipline, the bad food, the cold, and the wet." James spent 10 years in boarding school, 10 lonely years when the safest place he knew was inside his head. He says being at boarding school was as great an inspiration as any songwriter could ask for. I started writing songs to help get myself through the days. Writing those songs became his life, and singing those songs became his career. Songs like this one from last year, James Blount with You're Beautiful.
The Premier Radio Networks proudly presents American Top 20 with Casey Kasem.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, number 1.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to American Top 20. I'm Casey Kasem, and I'm all set to count down the 20 hottest hits in the USA. There's one new song on our survey this week, the latest hit for James Blount. Let the countdown begin.
Number 20.
Here's that new song by James Blount. It's a song he says was inspired by the club scene on the Spanish island of Ibiza, 1973.
Number 20.
Holding Steady is James Blount with a fantasy he wrote about something that might have happened the year before he was born. He imagines meeting a girl on a Spanish island back in 1973.